Hi trombones, in 7th grade, it's Mr. Y. These are your finals for the year in the EE book. You have 189 breath control exercise, 190 alternate position study, 192 alternate position practice number 2, and 198 chromatic challenge. I'm going to walk you through them all. Before we start, you may want to make sure that your slide is nice and slick. Okay, if you're sticky at all, it's probably not going to work for some of these because there is some fairly fast slide work you have to do. If you're not sure how to grease up your slide, check out my other video on how to grease your slide as a trombone player with the cold cream and the water bottle and the whole bit. Slide oil, I don't think really works too well. Slide grease, yeah, or the cold cream. And see the other video if you need that information. 189 is basically about long notes. You've got a lot of long notes that move by one position at a time because they go down half a step and then back up half a step. Remember, when you play slurs on the trombone, put a little bit of tongue in there between the notes, move your slide as late as you possibly can and as fast as you possibly can to make it nice and smooth. You don't want to get the glissando. You don't want you want a little bit of tongue in between so the notes are separate. 189 starts on an F. The next part starts on a low B flat. Make sure you take lots of air so you can make it all the way through there. That third phrase is actually exactly the same as the first phrase. Then the last phrase starts on a high B flat. So you don't use any more positions besides 1, 2, 3, and 4 in this. That's as far as you're going. 190, alternate position study. A couple things you need to know. First of all, the alternate position for a low C, which you normally play, of course, in 6th, you can play a middle F, which you normally play in 1st, just like you play a low C in 6th position. So in the very first 2 notes, of course, you've got F in 1st position, C in 6th position, and then you stay in 6th position to go back to the F. And the first F should sound exactly like the last F. You have to make the last F sound just like the first F. So that F right there sounds just like the first F. Then for the second little phrase, you play an F in 1st, an F in 6th, and then back to an F in 1st, and being really careful to listen and make them all sound exactly the same. Same thing happens in the next phrase. You've got a B flat, then a G flat in 5th, and you go back to the B flat, but you stay in 5th. 5th is an alternate position for B flat. So again, being really careful to make that last B flat sound like the first one. You can see when I first play it, if it's not quite exactly right, I can move just a little bit to get it exactly in tune. That's what you're listening really carefully for. The next line, you have a B flat in 1st, then a B flat in 5th, and then a B flat in 1st. Again, really being careful to make sure that they all sound the same. Let me try that one again. You can hear how they weren't quite exactly the same, so that's one I'd have to practice to make them really good. But going on right now, you have a G in 4th, a B natural in 4th, and then the high D also in 4th. 4th is an alternate position for the high D. Then at the very end, of course, we've got the 1st position D and the 4th position D and the 1st position D, again, making sure they all really sound the same. So I'll play the last 4 measures for you on 190. Nice fast air for those high Ds. Okay, 192, alternate position practice number 2, is just where we take all those alternate positions and put them together. You've got a couple B flats in 5th position. You've got a couple Fs in fourth position, high Fs in fourth position, and you've got a couple of Fs. You've got a couple of high Ds in fourth position. Then you've got a couple of regular Fs in sixth position. The rule for slide positions is if you can use an alternate and make it easier in this way, it's better to use it. If you are going the same direction on the slide, if you can keep going in the same direction on the slide, that makes it easier. Or, of course, if you can move less far on the slide, that makes it easier too. So, for instance, in the first measure, you have E flat, G, okay? And then, instead of going all the way back to first, because you're going far here, you're going from fourth to first, and you're having to reverse direction, if you can just go third, fourth, fifth, fourth, third, that's a lot easier, obviously. Is a lot easier than. I mean, you can do that too, but it takes a lot more energy. And if you're going fast, that's going to be a lot easier than. Yeah, it's not going to happen. Okay, so alternate positions are a good thing to know. The first phrase. Second little phrase starts on G. I'll go slower. You can see how it's from the C to the D, easier to go from third to fourth than from third to first. Second little phrase here in 192, alternate position, study practice number 2. You've got an F. Okay. The second little phrase, it starts on G, and you go up to the high D, which you use in fourth position this time. So. Again, going from the C to the D, third to fourth, is easier than going from C to D, third to first, because you're reversing direction and it's farther. So the second little phrase. The third phrase down on the second line, you've got an F in sixth position, a couple of them in sixth position. This one's a lot easier that way, because the F in sixth goes right to the C and then just stays on the F. So. As opposed to. Yeah. A lot harder that way. Okay? And then the last little phrase, you've got a B flat in fifth position. So it's going to be E flat in third, G in fourth, and then B flat in fifth. Kind of like the very first phrase. This one ends up with a C, E on the end, E flat. Okay, not really all that hard. Once you get the alternate slide positions down, you'll find that a lot of band music is easier too. Okay, chromatic challenge number 198. A lot of chromatic scales here, of course, which on the trombone is actually fairly easy. It means you only have to move one position at a time, which is kind of nice. 198 starts on an F. And then remember, the F sharp is in fifth, G is in fourth, G sharp is in third, A is in second, etc. So. If you don't need the notes here, what you may want to do is take it really slow and just like one measure at a time or a couple of notes at a time. For instance, maybe the first measure in the second line. High C, third position. High B, fourth position. High B flat. Now remember, you could do it in fifth, okay? But in this case, it's not going to really help a lot because you've got to go to the A next anyway. So I think third, fourth, first, second is probably easier than third, fourth, fifth, second. Because you got to go fifth to second, and that's pretty well a long way to go. So then the second part starts in B flat. Third fret starts on A. That one's probably going to be the hardest of the four, I would think, but take it really slow. Remember, you can go as slow as you want to when you play the finals. I don't mind if you do. Totally fine. Okay, slow and steady is always good. Slow and good is better than fast and bad. Make sure you get a really good sound, take a lot of air, do all that kind of thing, and good luck with it. Thanks.